Hey there, everybody. Parshat Emor features a lot of halachot related to the Yamim Tovim, the various holidays that we have throughout the calendar year. One such mitzvah is that of the lulav and etrog. We're told in the Torah, "Ulekachtem lachem bayom harishon, prietz hadar kapot marim ve'anaf eitz avot ve'arvei nachal," that you're supposed to take, the pasuk literally means, on the first day you shall take for yourselves these four species. We know them to be lulav, etrog, hadassim, and aravot. The Torah doesn't spell out as clearly as that, but that's the interpretation. And that's on the first day. And that's why there's a biblical mitzvah on the first day of Sukkot to take hold of these four species. The rest of Sukkot, there is a rabbinic mitzvah, except in one place, and that was when there was a Beit HaMikdash. All 7 days in the Beit HaMikdash, the obligation to hold on to the lulav and etrog and the hadassim and the aravot was a biblical commandment. Only in the Beit HaMikdash, though. So today, practically speaking, the first day is a biblical mitzvah to take lulav and etrog, and then the last 6 days of the holiday of Sukkot, when we take lulav and etrog, that is a fulfillment of a rabbinic mitzvah. The Midrash Tanchuma says the following, and this is not the type of Midrash we've been learning mostly this year. Midrash Tanchuma also generally focuses on Agadah, messages, stories, lessons that can be drawn from the text. But here we have a more halachic type of Midrash, though I believe that there is a deep and profound message that we can find in it. The Midrash says, "Ulekachtem lachem bayom harishon va'afilu b'Shabbat." They make a drasha, they expound that you're supposed to take the lulav and etrog on the first day. The Torah makes a point of, on the first day, take this. Meaning, va'afilu b'Shabbat. Even if it's Shabbat, take that lulav and etrog and hold it tight. When did this apply? Ela bizman shebeit hamikdash kayam. That was when there was a Beit HaMikdash. That the Hayunotim, they would take lulav and etrog even on Shabbat. V'achshav, there's no reason you would think that it should be a problem. The sages taught us that that's how to interpret the text. V'achshav gazru aleihem chachamim ha'achorim, but the later sages came along and they made a decree. Shaloli told b'Shabbat that the Jewish people should not take the lulav and etrog on Shabbat, even if it's the first day. Even if it's the only opportunity that year to fulfill the biblical mitzvah of lulav and etrog, not a rabbinic mitzvah like the rest of the holiday, but the biblical Torah mitzvah. God said, take it on the first day. And the rabbis came along and said, no, not even on the first day. Why? Shema yelech eitzel habaki lilmod v'ya'avirenu arba'amot b'reshut harabim, because you may take the lulav and etrog and the hadassim and the aravot, and you may carry it 4 cubits in the public domain, which would be a biblical prohibition. So they were concerned because of a potential biblical prohibition. Don't even do the whole biblical mitzvah. Even though God said it was okay, by the way. God and the Torah says it's okay. Take it on the first day. Rabbi said no. You're going to carry it to an expert who's going to teach you what, you're concerned. Oh, is my etrog kosher? The pitum is a little whatever. The lulav is a little bent. Too many leaves fell off the aravot. Is it still good, Rabbi? And so they're going to go to the rabbi, to some expert, and they're going to say, tell me, am I doing the right thing or not? And then they'll have mistakenly carried the lulav through the public domain. Let me explain something also. Carrying in the Reshut Harabim, yes, it's true, it's it's a biblical prohibition, but the type of public domain that is defined by biblical law, to be a public domain, and it has to, the rabbis explain, it has to be a place where 600,000 people pass through on a given day. It has to be that kind of busy. Our streets here in our neighborhood, they don't have that many people passing by on any given day. To carry in the streets in our community wouldn't be a biblical prohibition, it would be a rabbinic prohibition. The rabbis forbid the carrying even when there are not 600,000 people traveling in that on that road. Now we have an eruv, which allows us to carry, which circumvents, that's a halachically totally acceptable, but circumvents the rabbinic prohibition. But the biblical prohibition is so hard to come by on a practical level that this is surprising that they would make a decree not to do what God said with the lulav on the first day because of some, fear that the Shabbat will be desecrated. And I think this really speaks to how Chazal viewed the importance of Shabbat. And I think this is the really profound message that emerges from the Midrash Tanchuma here. That Shabbat is such a special day, and it can often get overlooked. When Shabbat and a holiday coincide, what takes the cake in terms of the feeling of the day? Most often it's going to be, and I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, but often it could be, it's the holiday because it happens once a year. Let's say it's Pesach I don't know, my lights just went out. It's Pesach on Shabbat. Pesach, it's a Seder, it's the whole thing, it kind of overshadows. Same thing when you're eating in the sukkah on Friday night of that year. And it's the first day of Yom Tov, let's say. Yeah, it can be something that gets overshadowed. And the rabbi said, never forget the sanctity of Shabbat. Shabbat is so special to the Jewish people. And even for a remote problem like carrying in the Reshut HaRabim in the public domain, because also the person may know the halacha. It's such a remote fear that there'll be somebody out there who doesn't know and makes this mistake. The rabbis went that far for the sanctity of Shabbat. They were willing to give up on a biblical mitzvah of lulav. Same thing, by the way, with shofar, as the Midrash tells us. Same thing with shofar when it falls out on Shabbat. We don't blow the shofar on Shabbat. Surprising. I think we can learn from the rabbis how important Shabbat is. To make sure that we are observing Shabbat properly. To do the positive mitzvot of Shabbat with gusto. To make kiddush. To, at the end of Shabbat, make havdalah. And in the middle, to show proper honor and delight, and to delight in the Shabbat. This is what we are supposed to do. Have the beautiful meals, time with our family, maybe it's some time to study some Torah. This is what Shabbat is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be overlooked by anything else. And so this is what they were worried about. People were going to get maybe so consumed in the holiday, they wouldn't remember exactly that it is today Shabbat. May we never take for granted the special nature of Shabbat, and may we all be zocha, may we all merit to be able to properly observe Shabbat every single week. Have a great week. I'm sorry the lights went out. I have to go change the light bulb. Have a good day.